Yo, Nyajo, this is Moji Shot Baba. And please, guys, subscribe to Talk with J.O. with Jackton Otieno. Meaningful conversations, that's your nuggets, wisdom. Please, it's for free. Subscribe. Hello and welcome to another episode of Talk with J.O. This is your captain, Jackton Otieno, and this episode is special, man. It's coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia, but people here say Alana, Georgia, and I'm with a good friend of mine, Mr. Moji Shot Baba.
Yeah,
what's good, Mambo?
Good, kabisa.
Uko freshi?
I'm happy to be here.
Thanks for making time, man.
Kabisa.
So as you all know, Talk with J.O. is all about inspiring stories. We keep saying that everyone is important. Everyone has a story, and everyone's story is important and deserves to be told. Moji, that's what I do, man.
Yeah.
On this show. Thanks for making time. I don't take it for granted.
Asante sana, man. I'm happy to be here.
And I really appreciate, man.
Yeah, man.
Who would have thought we would be doing this not in Guru, Kanairo, yeah?
We're in Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
What's good, man?
I mean, go
I think we're tuchapeka drink kidogo, eh?
We should lie, you know. Just enjoy. Enjoy the good life. Enjoying summer. Summer, bro.
Yeah, man. You
yeah,
see,
man.
We have our shots.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's the weather, you know.
How's it treating you?
It's good. You know, I wish time off, time also to do other things on this other side.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, it's been, we haven't been able to travel a lot.
Yeah.
During the corona period and all that. It's been almost 2 years of not being in the same environment and stuff. So it's good to just go out and do things and work from a different environment. So
yeah,
we have been doing a couple of shows and all that. It's been amazing.
Good.
Yeah, man.
Good, man.
Yeah.
So I'd like us to have an amazing conversation, you know, just on many different things.
Yeah.
Because as I told you, the shows, everyone is important on this show.
Oh yeah.
You know.
That's important.
And people shine their light on different platforms.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
shine your light in the music.
Yeah.
Other people shine their light in politics, in the arts, in many different fields.
Exactly.
But there is a story behind that light shining. There's a story behind that person. There's a story behind the stage.
For sure.
So I'd like us to, you know, do a backstory a bit. And because you're an amazing musician, and you're doing an amazing job, man.
Yeah.
I must say congratulations on your Cheza Gospel.
Thanks, bro.
New EP.
Yeah, man.
Congratulations on getting married.
For sure.
You know, in 2021. Like, so many things, man.
Yeah, man. God's
Congrats.
God's been amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So let's kick it off by, I want to know how your upbringing was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So tell me where you were born.
Yeah.
And how's your upbringing? I know you mentioned your grandma so many times.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd like to know about your story a bit.
Well, yeah, it's back in 1991.
Okay.
My mother is 16 years thereabout. Then she, you know, this boy called Moji starts growing in her belly.
Yeah.
So she's still in her mother's house. So I was born into my grandmother's house, and that's where I grew up. And I grew up around a lot of love around my uncles and aunties.
Yeah.
There were 8 in number, including my mother.
Okay.
I was like the 9th born in a family of, a very big family. So I grew up around my grandfather in my initial stages of being a young person. And I was born in Kawangware.
Okay.
But at the time we were living in Mai.
Okay.
And we later moved to Gando because of so many other reasons. That is Lenana School.
Okay.
That's the area of that's the name of the area.
Yeah.
Only that now because Lenana School is such a big landmark, everybody calls that area Lenana. But it's not really Lenana.
Yeah.
It's Gando.
Yeah.
So that's where I grew up. I grew up there. I grew up in Dagoretti constituency. That's in Dagoretti constituency. And I grew up going to Kawangware because my grandmother and my mother used to sell bananas in Kawangware Market.
Okay.
And I used to be part of a project called Compassion International in Kawangware, the Kawangware one, Kawangware project.
All right.
So I used to go there a lot, used to go to the market a lot. I used to do all that. So that's where I grew. That's my growing up. I schooled in a primary school just near Lengana School. It's called Ngong Forest Primary School.
Ngong Forest.
Yes, it's smack in the middle of the forest. It's actually quite literal. It's Ngong Forest Primary School.
Okay.
And it's in the Ngong Forest Sanctuary, Forest Sanctuary. It's in there. So it's a colonial school.
Okay.
A lot of stories about it, but yeah, basically that's my upbringing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm keen to, you know, I mean, your mom was 16 then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, how? So, is she there or she?
No, she's late.
She's late.
She left us. You know, she about 8 years now.
Oh, 8 years.
2014.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been quite a long time.
Sorry about that, man. And so was she the one who was telling you these stories?
Oh yeah, you know, her, my grandmother, stuff. You know, I grew up with my mother. We were very close to my mother, almost like friends. Not like, but we were friends. Because, again, being very young, we could easily converse. Because, you know, sometimes when there's a big age difference between you and your children, you know, there's that communication. Because it's like when in Zion.
Yeah.
But I got my mother when she was really young. So we were like really friends. And we were very, very close.
Okay.
And you know, some other people used to think she's my sister because of how young she looked.
Yeah.
And how old I looked.
Yeah.
So we were very good friends with my mother and we were very close. Yeah. Up until the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about because I didn't hear you mention you know your dad.
Oh yeah, yo. So there's so much I can't share about that.
Yeah.
You know, because of so many other reasons.
Okay.
But you know, my dad is there, and we do have a relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
You met him.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah, my dad is there. There's so much I can't mention. But my dad is there, and we have a good relationship. And, you know, we still talk.
That's good.
Yeah.
I want to respect that, man.
Yeah.
But I'd like to know, you know, before we move to something else, just a bit about that, because you know, our bringing, our backgrounds always affect, you know, our belief system, our value system, our thinking about many different things, about relationships, about life. How did, you know, how you were born and, you know, they are bringing, how did it shape your thinking about life?
For me, first of all, you know, I grew up around a lot of love. So for me, I'm a very relational person because I grew up around a lot of people. So you have all these uncles who are like your dads. And I have my aunties who are all my moms because everybody cares for me, and I have my grandmother who's like my grandmother, who's my grandmother and also my mother. So I've grown up just around a lot of love and learning how to relate with people. I guess that's what it's really taught me, because all my uncles are very different. All my aunties are different, and I have to relate with all of them. Relate with my mother, I have to relate with my grandmother, I have to relate with all these people. And I was a younger person, so I'm sort of like the fly in the room every other time. So I hear a lot of things, I observe a lot. So that taught me how to be a very social person, I can say. And also growing up with my mother and my grandmother. My grandmother is very religious.
Okay.
Yeah, she was very religious. So that also really like she instilled that, and she's still with me, and she still pushes that very much. So yeah, I think love is the main thing that was the biggest lesson that I got. Of course, my grandfather was also in the picture.
Okay.
And I spent a lot of time with my grandfather in my initial years. Because he was a very old man when I was younger. So we used to sit a lot. And he used to say a lot of things. Now that I'm older, I remember some of them. I never used to remember them when I was a bit younger. So there are so many lessons, and there are so many things that I do now. And when I think about it, it was actually my grandfather who influenced me. Because he was a very calm man.
All right.
He was rarely very loud or very violent or whatever. And I think I took that out because he didn't like vurugu at all. At all.
I'm sure there are people who are hearing that and they are wondering, Moji is not loud.
No. Yeah, there's a very different Moji
between performance and the real.
Very different. Maybe I've interacted with you more. And maybe you can give insight on on how I am, but
Yeah.
it's a very different. Moji, the performer and the person, they're like two different people.
Yeah.
And it's not like ati bipolar or anything. It's just that when I'm doing my thing, there's a way I express my art, and there's a person I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think people don't know? Especially now they're saying there's a difference between Moji, the performer, and the real Moji. What, is there something that you think people don't know, or probably maybe are perceived differently?
I don't know. Like people maybe think I'm very aggressive and very like, you know, very like, let's go.
Yeah.
It gets because of how they see me on stage or how they see me on stage.
Yeah.
Oh, this must be an aggressive, loud, whatever man.
Yeah.
Who is not, who can settle and just hold a conversation, stuff like that, or be serious or whatever. So I think that's the perception. Or they think I'm just like the life of a party. Like I'm always on top of cars or whatever. And stuff like that. Whereas I'm also an introvert, a very shy guy. And that's just me.
I was about to bring that up, man.
Yeah,
that Moji is an introvert.
Yeah, but they don't know. But it's okay. It's, you know, you can't tell until you're with the person.
That's right. Yeah. Let's switch lanes, man. Let's get into music. When did you start your musical journey?
Okay, so I think back in primary school, when I was in Ngong Forest Primary School, the interest was sparked by listening to the local stations and hearing music and stuff like that. So growing up, a small kid would gravitate towards their interests. There are those who gravitate towards certain things. So for me, I gravitated towards music a lot, around the arts. I used to draw a lot, sing along to songs a lot. And I guess that's around the time when I was like 10 or 11 or maybe like 9 from then. Even like guys like Crafton were coming up. It's like 2002. And that's when I realized I really like, because again, being in a Christian background, I used to listen to these other songs, but I could not express. So when Akina Rafton and Akina Okelia Moko,
SK Blue, Henry Mutuku,
exactly, when those guys started coming up, now I could enjoy the music loudly, express it, and I could see, so there can be, because akukuwa na option usikize gospel.
But Daniel, who was your favorite artist? Now it doesn't matter whether it was a secular gospel, like, because I know you were listening to a lot of stuff. Who was your, what kind of, who are you listening to then much more?
I'll tell you Rafton.
Okay.
I'll tell you Rafton. Like there's so many songs that stuck in my mind from that time. But I remember the first song that actually really one of the songs that really impacted me as a person was Rafton.
Okay.
It is because I'm not saying was kwa hivyo, but Rafton was very good on delivery. He was actually still is very skilled. Make me song like Solomon.
I know it.
Give me wisdom like one Solomon. Like some like this guy. This guy is bad.
He can freestyle any day, anywhere, anytime.
So you can imagine. You're being told in the house you can't listen to any other music apart from gospel music. And then you encounter somebody who, because growing up in the hood, trust you me, reggae and raga. Because I was born in the 90s. So again, you're growing up around a lot of reggae and raga. That's when Akina Chakademas and Flyers and all these other guys were like the thing. So everybody was just like reggae raga. So kuna mziki zingine lakini hizo zinakuja kama zimepita. Everybody was just reggae raga. And then now here comes Rafton. It's just like a muikulu. So I
know exactly what you're saying. So
that was it, man. That was I can tell you for a fact that and Okelia Moko. Those are the first songs, and then now in came Akina Henry Mutuku. So that was your interest in muziki sasa.
Okay. And then you started out as a rapper.
Yeah, exactly.
Why?
It's just like that. I don't know, man. You really can't tell because again, man, kwanza hata hakuna wase around me who are singing. It's the influences that are around you.
Okay.
So you're growing up around raga. It's the 90s, Kalamashaka. So who is nani anaimba Kenya una feel ni watu wenye wanaimba hizo vitu because wanaimba zile issues zenye unaona. So nilikuwa napenda, I would enjoy songs that are sung, but I gravitated towards rap a lot. And that was again because immediately I had rap on, I was around school just saying you know, trying to come up with it. Now that I look at it, nikiangalia back, mimi naona hiyo ilikuwa nonsense. No, hiyo time ilikuwa ni nonsense tunafanya. But then looking back, I was building my cadence. Because rapping is, you have to get your cadence right?
Yeah.
That's how I started before I started adding lyrics.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was just, I think ilikuja kuna tuna rap. So I used to rap all the time. Rap nikienda duka, rap nikienda shule.
Okay.
Kaanza kuandika raps na some of my friends, tukafanya hivyo. Then tukiendelea ku grow, some other guys came. I used to write some melodies, but I wasn't really good. I just write melodies for the chorus.
Okay.
But I would never write a full song in naimba.
Okay. So you started rap, na mkaanza na your friend
Yeah.
That's now when you guys formed Kelele Takatifu.
By the time I met Didi, I was sure I wanted to be an artist.
Okay.
I was 100% sure. Okay. By then I had performed at Compassion International so many times. Our project, I had written full songs. I had rhyme books. Every other time, I was sure. I had started dressing a certain way, expressing myself a certain way. People already knew. Walikuwa shaanza kuona ujamaa ashaanza ku cut out a path for himself.
Okay.
So by the time I met Didi in high school, now this was the time now
that this is
Senior Chief Koinange.
Senior Chief Koinange.
Yeah. By the time I met Didi, I think I had been to the studio once and recorded.
Okay.
So I was like, it was who's gonna join me on this journey, but I was sure where I'm headed.
Yeah.
But again, I was shy. I'm not where I'm from. Hakukuwa na wasanii wengi na wale walikuwa sikuwa na like because nilikuwa na feeling kama walikuwa so sikuwa na like, but walikuwa so focused on the area. Yeah. Mimi nilikuwa nataka kupaa bro. Kwa hiyo time but nasema bro, ndio kwa the youngest artist in Kenya.
Yeah.
I was like, my mind was huko.
I like that, man. You know, I like it because I had a chat with Eunice Njeri.
Yeah.
And we were saying there's a lot of power in words, in speaking.
Yeah.
You know, ulikuwa unajua unafanya kweli, you know, when you're saying mimi ndo takuwa.
Yeah, and I've always been like that. I like haiwezi. Even now I'm like certain things like I want to do, I'm like I'm clear I want to do it. So I don't know how it's gonna work out, but I'm just gonna start and I'm like, this is it. It must happen. So your time like me by the way, it was clear. Takuwa msanii na nataka kuimba. I remember the time tulipoka karatasi tuange what do you want to be when you grow up.
Yeah. I
wrote lawyer, but nilijirebuke from your play. I was small.
Okay.
Niko like, what umeandika lawyer?
You no, sure? Deep down unajua.
Unajua utakuwa msanii. I can even remember the room. Like you school nilijirebuke mimi mwenyewe. Umeandika lawyer. I was like 14 or 15.
Interesting.
So I knew what I wanted to be. Okay. And I feel like I wasn't discouraged by anybody at home.
Okay.
So also that really like helped me because nobody ever told me don't you can't. Because again, they were just like, oh yeah, like if I would wake up in the morning and start singing loudly. And nobody ever told me shut up. I would draw. Nobody ever told me stop.
That's a great blessing, man. I mean, what would you tell, especially parents who they have a teenager or they have a youngster in the house who's behaving exact same way Moji was behaving a couple of years ago?
Just don't discourage them. Yeah, support them the way you can. Because again, sometimes you might find that maybe you're not economically able to support whatever interest your child has.
Yeah.
So you might not be able to support them in the way they think that you should. You know, mtu wako maybe nikakuwa safari lali mkugeto. Utafanya nini upengia hata wewe una gari. But the best thing you can, usimdiscourage. Usimwambie hiyo utafanya aje na huko
familia yetu hatuna pesa.
Ama sio ama unaanza kumwambia think about no, just don't discourage. And don't they don't have to. It's like when sometimes African parents, I don't know what they think. If you do this, it means I'll try kusoma. See, just find a way to kuambia mtu hii as long as your studies are good, then you can do this.
Yeah.
Find a balance.
Yeah.
Because in most cases unapata hii ndio huyu mtu yeye atakuja kukua in the future.
Yeah.
Atakuja kupe degree yako.
Yeah.
Akwambia sasa shika degree acha vile kupasu ile kitu nyingine kwa atakupasu. So simu encourage tu mapema. Hata akipasu degree hizi ende hand in hand, asikweni kama anaanza fresh huko mbele. Akwe already yako na steps ahead za whatever. So I can just say just don't discourage. That's don't.
Yeah. What of now the guy who is already being discouraged?
Yeah.
Yeah. Afanye aje?
I think
Yeah, kwa environment sasa naambiwa manze hii tunataka hii usanii. Kwanza hebu angalia sasa hivi wasanii. Angalia 2020 vile wasanii wameumia.
Don't be rebellious. Don't be rebellious. Don't do anything out. Don't do anything that is done from bitterness or from trying to prove a point.
Yeah.
It doesn't pan out very well. And sometimes sometimes you can wait it out. You can say, okay, so maybe you don't believe me, but just give me time.
Yeah.
But do it in a very respectable way. Because the same way, it doesn't mean that I've never had people in my family or close to me who have doubted what I want to do, or doubted my capabilities, or doubted all these things.
Yeah.
But I've always learned that sometimes when you need to nilichorea for a while, I say, okay, so I'll not tell you about what I'm doing. Because we don't need to fight about it.
Yeah.
And baadaye after years and years, maybe in some months, we're like, what? So this is what you were doing, And at that point,
yeah,
that person can come and we can talk without them feeling like we already damaged our relationship. Niliongea vibaya, nilifanya nini. I'm like, let's be very respectable about certain things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've also realized something. If you have an interest in maybe a young person, don't keep it a secret. Because sometimes inastuanga watu the shock factor.
Yeah.
Ile point yenye unafaa kwenda uni ndio unaambiwa wase kitu yenye hajawahi jua. Unaambia guys what I must do what. Or like what? We have never seen you do.
Yeah.
So I feel like nipo sometimes just speak your interest, like what, let people know.
Yeah.
Sometimes even people utapata kumbe babako anajuana na the biggest person who does whatever you do, maybe a Nick show. Ama anajuana na, you get me like.
Yep.
Because I've seen guys who that has happened.
Yeah.
I've gotten calls from parents.
Okay.
Yeah. A parent I knew from Siju Happy.
Yeah.
And they're, oh, by the way, my son sings. Can you talk to them? Because the parent is like, I don't know anything about this thing.
Yeah.
But I know Moji from somewhere else. Maybe it's a family friend, or we met somewhere. So you get, so if the kid shares whatever their interest is with the parent, they might even not know. So don't keep it a secret. Don't do anything out of weakness or rebellion. And also just work on it. Show people how serious you are. If people see your dedication towards something, your discipline towards it, they'll treat it with the same seriousness that you do.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
So which song would you consider like, say, this is the jam that, man, put us on the map in Kenya?
Yeah.
This is the song that, like, introduced us to everyone.
Oh yeah. So the first song that made us feel like we are actually artists, or we're actually on our path to greatness was Nimso.
Nimso.
That was the first song we had to feel, wow.
It's a good job, man.
Yeah, man, no. Umeko picha kwa poster, picha yako imeko kwa poster.
Yeah.
You know, like
Nimso.
Yeah.
Nimso,
I remember
Nimso,
we were actually on the Groove Party 2012 roster. That was big, bro. One of the biggest stages like I've ever performed on, in front of like 20K.
Yeah.
Crazy. Oh, it was insane, bro. So like, what? For real? Umepanda maji ndio hata umetembea part of the journey, watu ko like, dude,
ni sisi, man, ni mimi.
Hata uoni hizo vitu zote. You don't even care. Asubuhi umemaliza gig, umetembea na mafans out of the whatever, you're going home. I don't even give a damn. It doesn't matter to you. So that was the first time. But the song that introduced us to the whole world and the nation was Itakuwa Ngori.
Itakuwa Ngori, man.
Yeah. That was
big. That one, like,
no, that one
went
like,
everywhere.
Yeah, that one like really bit as a household name, man. That was crazy. Yeah. that was crazy.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
And you know the journey has just been up, and then now you switched and became a solo artist.
Oh man.
I know a lot of people know that. So, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I don't want to ask you about what happened. You know that Kelele Takatifu had to close.
Yeah.
You know, and you transitioned to a solo artist. I'd like to know how the journey has been, man, as a solo artist. I have a few questions for you, of course, about groups.
Yeah.
The challenges,
Yeah.
group dynamics, But I'd like to know how the journey has been for you.
Well, the journey was crazy initially because already you had already gone through the cycles of starting out as Kelele Takatifu,
Yeah.
all those things, God establishing you and you learning the ropes and
Yeah.
making sure the name,
Yeah.
places and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then after that, you end up starting afresh. So starting afresh wasn't easy. Trying to introduce yourself as Moji Shot Baba, meeting resistance
Yeah.
from people who didn't like the idea of you coming. Change is not easy.
Yeah.
And also fighting the battles wewe mwenyewe uko ndani. So it was a very hard tackle. Funny enough, most of the planning that I did it here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Solo artist, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Just before the transition, I was here in Atlanta.
Ah.
Went back to Kenya. It was August.
That one you came for Saudi. That was during Saudi Awards.
I came for Saudi, and it was just Saudi was part of a bigger tour.
Okay.
So it was the last tour we did with people.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so we did Saudi, we did Kansas, we did Dallas. Yeah, we did so many places, and then after that, went back home. So this is why, like, the game plan, whatever.
Yeah.
After we had a lot of conversations with God and friends.
Yeah.
And we went back in September of 2017. That's when I went solo.
Yeah.
And then nilikuwa nimepanga vile mashambulizi itakuwa. So nikashambulia watu na muziki until like May of 2018.
Yeah.
So by that time.
And then it was challenging because mungeenda gig moja as a solo artist. DDP and as a solo artist. Because najua vile mlirudi.
Yeah.
There are people who wanted you to perform
Oh,
still
yeah.
as
And we got booked. And we got booked.
Yeah.
We did, yeah. And we got booked. So first of all, differentiating yourself from a big brand like that is very hard. Yeah, being able to. For me, I had a game plan and prayed about it.
Okay.
And I knew, like, I had to get my own catalog as fast as I could.
Yeah.
And that's how I ended up releasing so much music within a short while. So within a year, I had like an hour of my own music. Like I could perform at a gig. Yeah, I had Vimbada, Shukustumane, Ajwa Nyangusha.
Yeah.
Acha Wacheki, Wacha Story, Kuzitoka.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mitumba. By the time it was September the next year, so much music.
No, man, Moji, I respect you a lot, man.
Yeah.
I have a buddy of mine, by the way, Haron. Shout out to you. I know he loves your music like crazy.
So much.
I know
Shout out.
He likes your music like he's a buddy of mine, eh?
Yeah.
I know, yeah, he really loves that Mitumba, eh?
Yeah.
It's like, ujamana job kuandika wimbo. It's so creative. And I agree, man. I think you're a really good lyricist. You know how to pen. Because I know you've written for other people. I know you've written songs for this guy, Masterpiece.
Yeah,
I know you've written some songs for Masterpiece.
Yeah.
Who else have you written for?
I written for DK.
Oh, DK.
Chrysychos back there.
Chrysychos and him.
Mr. Seed. Yeah.
Honestly, I think you're a good writer.
Thanks,
and I think you're not just good, but creative.
Thanks.
This is the way you can write music, but you write it creative. Like with the Mitumba, I mean, like, who would have thought Mutumba Gikosh can be, you can turn it into a...
Yeah. I think I came from rap, because rap is just rhythm and poetry.
Yeah.
So that poetic side of rap is the one that now I apply.
Yeah.
I'm trying to attack, topics in my music. So I'm like, if I would attack it as a rapper, what topic would I give it? Like, how would I? So there's a lot of similes, idioms, all those things that are there. How to creatively attack, whatever. That comes from a rapper's kind of perspective. So that's the perspective. That's my perspective when it comes to like talking about things. I'm like, okay, because everything you're singing about has been sung about before.
That's right.
So you just have to find a very your own creative way to express yourself.
I like it, man. I don't want to let this question slide about group dynamics. I'm tempted to ask you if you ever regretted leaving.
Yeah.
You know, especially media when you're starting out, because now when you're starting out as a solo artist, I can imagine it's challenging.
Yeah.
You have a big brand you built together with Didi.
Yeah.
Is there a point you ever like, hey, was this a really good decision or not? And the reason I say that, because I see groups out here. You know, I've seen Recap, and you know, amazing groups. You know, doing amazing stuff. When they disintegrate and artists go solo, it's kind of challenging, you know, because you keep that tag. Yeah, you keep that tag. You know, Manolo is doing his stuff, for instance. Nelly is doing her stuff, but there's just that group tag that remains with you. Yeah, you know, I just don't know what you think about that.
I never regretted. Okay, I never regretted. Personally, I never regretted, but getting used to doing things on your own is not easy, because you bounce off each other's energy. Yeah, you rely on each other's strengths, right? So essentially, the other guy covers your weaknesses, you cover their weaknesses. So it wasn't even performing. You know, if you're two people, one can hold this side of the stage, this other has to hold this side of the stage. Now you have to hold the whole stage. You have to make sure like your presence is felt all through the stage, right? Yeah. It's a small thing like that. You write a song, you write a certain part and somebody anakuongezea. So uko peke yako. Yeah. So it wasn't easy. Yeah. But I didn't regret, because by the time we were coming to end the group, we had different perspectives on different things. So by the time I am going solo, Didi's going solo, I was happy. I was happy being solo, because there are things that I always wanted to pursue as Moji, and now I could do it without putting anybody else's nini and whatever in question, or you know, all this. I could now just pursue. Yeah. Because me, I'm an all-round entertainer. Yeah. I like doing things. I like acting. I like whatever. All these things. If you do them in a group, sometimes there's like an issue, especially when the group is growing. So now I could do all these things. Musically, I wanted to do songs that are like this, and then like this, and then like this. And as a person, as Moji, I can be able to do that. I can do one song and I'm really singing. Another one is just rap. Another one I'm always like, you know, like I could express myself in a way that I want. Yeah. And whatever. Also, the speed of doing things also. When a crook like to it's like a marriage. Yeah. But say I work in isolation. I have a team. Yeah. But I have a bit more of creative control than I had in a group. So for me, it wasn't a regret, but it was almost like you know, I would be like, man, it would have been easier if Didi was here, because there are certain things that Didi was really good at. Yeah. Like Didi has a really good ear, right? Yeah. So he would hear some things in songs, whatever, and stuff like that. Yeah. Didi is very resilient. Yeah. So kuna certain things, but I say, for me, nilifurahia sana, because by the time I was leaving the group, I had already learned so much from Didi. So I was able to take what I learned from him and merge with whatever I knew. Yeah. And now
use it in your solo career. So
but no regrets.
Good stuff. Good to hear. What do you consider as your biggest achievement? Or you know, like man, this is like, what things you consider, man, this is precious as a solo artist?
Well, I don't know, bro. I think pushing on. I think that's pushing on. Okay. I think that's what it is. Achievements either get bigger. Yeah. So I can't say it's the biggest. I think the biggest would be just not giving up. Let's continue. Okay. Yeah. And we're actually here, we're still pushing it, because it's part of a bigger purpose, part of a bigger picture. Yeah. So for me, every other time that I wake up and I find the strength to do what I need to do. Yeah. Because sometimes it gets really hard, bro. Yeah. So
like last year.
Yeah. Like last year. It gets really hard, bro. Yeah. It gets really hard. So if every time I wake up and I have the energy and I I'm able to talk to God and gather enough courage to just keep on to push it. Yeah. Then I feel nice, man.
Let me tell you more what I like about you. Yeah. I like that spirit, the word, you speak life, because I think the whole you've been saying this is the year.
Yeah,
This is my year.
every year is my year, bro.
Is the year of
Every
Baba.
year is our year.
And I like that perspective because 2020, whether there's COVID, is
It's
your
our
year.
year. It's my year, bro.
2021,
And you know why? And
Yeah.
you know why? Last year was my year. Not because I achieved, like, I didn't achieve, like, their years are according to my their eyes.
Yeah.
I achieved so much more than you were all over. Like, still, my biggest achievement is that I learned a lot. Like, it was still my year.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. I came out of 2020 with so many lessons.
Yeah.
And even 2021 nika ni one 2020 ingine tu extension.
Yeah.
And 2020 Pro Max. So
and when did you engage your?
it was
Why?
2021.
Oh, it was 2021.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
It was
All right.
beginning of
Beginning of the year.
Yeah, beginning
Okay.
of the year. I've done the whole marriage process, engagement process. I did it like the first half of 2021.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, yet niliamka nikafikiri nika 2021.
Yeah.
These are things that
Plan.
already planned
Yeah.
before. I'm already there. It was there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, every year you've got to be very, because you've got to speak against that. You've got to command the thoughts in your head.
Yeah, man.
Command the voices that are all over.
Yeah.
Things that are telling you can't. People who are telling you can't. Thoughts from inside yourself.
Yeah.
Just put it out there that this is my day. This is my year.
Mm.
Leo nakafunga. Leo, it's gonna be a great year.
I like it.
Because you win. Either you lose or you don't. Somebody said you don't lose. You either win or you learn.
Yeah.
Right?
I like
So if you lose, you learn. Because if you don't learn, you're gonna lose again. But if you win, you win. If you lose, it's not losing, it's learning. You've learned, oh, okay, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't have talked to that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's not how I should do things.
Yeah.
Whatever. So if you don't learn from your mistakes, so you either you or you lose. So it's your year. It's
Yeah.
your year. Whether you learn from that year, whether you win in that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like us to close this part one conversation.
Yeah.
Because I know we're here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks ago we had Sauti Fest.
Yeah.
And man, you were performing. I don't know if my one of my favorite collabo.
Yeah.
Hajawahi Niangusha.
Ah, nice. Thanks, man.
That's like like anytime that jam plays, man, because it has the message, man, is just so.
Yeah.
I've never seen the Righteous Forsaken, man. Hajawahi Niangusha.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so that's my favorite. Of course, Vimbada, man, that's the, you know,
Yeah.
because you threw it down at Sauti One,
Yes,
at Sauti Fest.
Yeah, man.
You know, people were dancing, you know, to Vimbada and to all this. How does it make you feel, man? Being away, not in Kenya, being in the States,
Yeah.
you're performing at a gig, and people are singing along, dancing along. I mean, how do you feel about that, man?
I think it's the faithfulness of God, man. Because
Amen.
I've come to learn over time is that our work is just to plant the seeds.
Uh-huh.
God makes them grow.
Yeah.
So for me to be able to plant certain seeds and to see God grow those seeds to the point that you can achieve those kind of things, it just
Yeah.
encourages me to plant more seeds and
Yeah.
then to leave it to God. Because honestly, if kujipiga kifua ni kusema hey, mimi ni mnomba zi,
Yeah.
but no.
Yeah.
You plant, your work is welcome, washa kamera, fanya interview. How it's gonna be received out there, what impact that interview will have.
Yeah.
Hata utajua. Maybe it's one person, maybe it's two,
That's right.
maybe it's three, maybe it's a million people.
Yeah.
But as long as you have planted the seed,
Yeah.
that your work is done. Well, just plant your seed, do whatever you need to do to tend to the seeds. You know, prune it, whatever. In fact, prune hata ni Mungu. Yani, just you plant the seeds, and then so for me to plant those seeds and to see
Yeah.
them grow to that extent,
Yeah.
it's the glory of God.
Amen.
Faithfulness of God.
Amen.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I think we're going to close and continue in part two. Part two, we're going to talk about so many things, man. You've been creating a lot of content, and there are people who have received it in a good way. There are people who are like, "Huyu jamaa anatusumbua."
Let's go!
I think we'll catch more of that, and I'd like to know, man, about these travels, because I know you've gone to so many states here.
Yeah.
And I want to pick your thoughts also, because about learning about the music, you know, in East Africa, in Africa.
Yeah.
I want to hear your thoughts about all those.
Let's
Catch
go.
you on part two, man. Stay tuned right here on Talk with Jayo. I'm with Moji Short Baba. Check out his music, man. If you don't know it, but I know all of you know him. Check out his stuff, and subscribe to his channel. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And yeah, catch you on part two.